to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. Today is another Off the Monorail episode, and I'm really excited about this one. If you are a longtime listener, you might remember today's guest, Leoni, from her previous appearance on the show, which I have linked in the show notes for you. When I had previously spoken with Leoni for the September 2024 trip report we did with her and her bestie, Beth, we talked a little about her background as an actor, which of course I was interested in since I also have an acting background. So fast forward to April 2025, when Leoni reached out to me to let me know that after her trip, she had been inspired to consider the possibility of combining her entertainment background and her love of Disney by being open to maybe a Disney entertainment job. Lo and behold, she had been cast in an entertainment role for Disney Cruise Lines, and she would officially be a cast member in every sense of the words. We sat down in May of 2025 to discuss her journey and what led to joining the Disney company. After her contract was over, we reconnected in November to get all the details of how it went. Leoni is one of the loveliest people, and I have just been so excited to get this episode out there for you all to enjoy. Please make sure you share it with friends and send me your feedback, whether it's through a review, a comment, or a direct message. I really want to hear what you think. And with that, let's embark on a very special episode, pun intended. Please welcome back Leoni. I am welcoming back to the podcast today, Leoni. Leoni, you're a sight for sore eyes.
Hello, hiya.
Thank you so much for being here with me for something a little bit different today.
Honestly, thank you, Virginia. I had this opportunity and I thought the only way I can start this process is by getting in touch with you. So I appreciate you
Oh,
having me back.
that is so sweet. Why don't we stop talking in code then and explain to the listeners what you have coming up that is a trip, but it's not really a trip either.
Exactly, yeah. So I have been cast as one of the entertainment hosts and performers on the Disney Wish coming up.
Yay!
Yes.
Goody applause.
So yeah, I fly out a week today on the June 2nd, heading straight to Florida, and I have about a week's worth of training outside of the cruise ship and
Mhm.
then some training on the cruise.
Okay, and how long will you be away?
I'll be away until the 10th of October, so just over 4 months.
Okay. So I don't think we ever talked about this during our first time chatting, which when was that, by the way? Because I talked to you when you came to Orlando before.
Yes. So we were in September, would have been beginning of September, end of August, the first time we ever spoke.
And we're speaking right now. It is the end of May.
Hmm.
Anyway, what I was going to say is that I actually have a past life as an actor myself. I haven't done it in a long time since I became a mom, but I still pay my actors' equity dues and everything. And so when I heard you were doing this, I was just like, oh my gosh, Leoni, you're living my dream. You're out there, you're doing it, and you're doing it on the Disney Wish. So that's super, super exciting to me. Are you able to share with us at all? I mean, they're going to hear this after you're done with your contract. Or maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when they hear
We'll
this.
see.
Um, are you able to share what the show that you're going to be in is about?
Yeah, so I am doing more of the hostess work. So I don't actually have a sort of character ident, if that makes sense. I don't
You're like
have
an
a
MC type?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
So I'll be in all of the shows apart from the sort of evening main stage ones. And I think there may be an opportunity to present those shows, sort of like
Mhm.
open them up. But yeah, as soon as I kind of get there, I'm gonna chuck myself the deep end and be like, give me everything. I
Uh-huh.
want to open everything. I know one of the ones I'm looking forward to is the sail away party.
Uh-huh.
So I've seen a lot about that. I'm very excited to get into that. And a lot of
Uh-huh.
the we had some scripts given to us for our audition process.
Mhm.
So that's given me an idea of what sort of shows and activities. And what sounds really good is that the activities that the children and teenagers or whoever
Mhm.
do, it's very much show based. So it's not just a
Right.
case of you just coloring in. There's a whole story and a performance around it. So I'm
Mhm.
very excited to kind of get stuck in and do a bit of everything, really.
Is there an element to this that is sort of improv based? So some of it may be scripted, but some of it giving you the freedom to interact with passengers on the cruise ship and kind of do your own thing for bits of time.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it is going to be sort of improv, which is kind of the performance and the career I've had for the past few years, to be honest.
Mhm.
A lot of it has come up with either I've been helping sort of to make the show so it starts from scratch, or a lot of my work has been like children's immersive theatre. So you
Mhm.
tend to have to be able to talk on your feet and also talk when things go wrong, or be able to blabber through something just to delay things for minutes
Mhm.
or however long. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, especially with a lot of the adult game shows that I
Mhm.
think go on, a lot of that is around your personality, which is kind of is really really interesting because I think a lot of people think that the hardest sort of person to be is yourself, and you
Mhm.
have to, in this role especially, y- that's all you can be. You can only be your sort of best version of yourself. So it's gonna be really nice to kind of show everyone that side and not be
Mhm.
anyone and
Mhm.
just be me.
Yeah. No, this reminds me a lot, and this is something I always forget that I have done until I remember, which sounds so stupid now that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying it. But for a while, I can't remember how long I did it for. I was, and I don't even know what to call the role, but I was out on the road with the national tour of Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby.
Wow.
And I wasn't in the show. I would go to the cities where the show was sitting down. So, Chicago, Atlanta, like all these places. And then I would lead workshops with groups of school kids who were coming to see the show and do like game shows with them and teach them some of the choreography from part of the show, like they'll teach them how to be a lost boy. And there was a whole script involved, but there was also like a lot of improving because it's kids. And so
Yeah.
you kind of had to, and you'd call people up to participate. And that's one of those parts of my life that I had a really fun time doing it, but I forget about it until somebody says the name Kathy Rigby or, like, the musical version of Peter Pan. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
did that."
Oh yeah, that was me. Yeah, for sure. Definitely, especially with like children's answers and questions and
Mhm.
things, they can say anything, and
Yeah.
it's your response that's going to make or break their their sort of imagination.
Mhm. Let's talk a little bit about how you got into the world of entertainment. Where did it start for you? What have you done to prepare yourself to be a professional? And I guess, what does it mean to you to be doing this for Disney?
Sure. So I like most people who are in this industry, it starts as a child, and I was very fortunate to have a mom who supported me in everything that I did. And I think I spoke a bit of it in my last podcast where I was a bit worried about the restrictions on the rides because I'm a plus size woman.
Mhm.
And as a child, I was always the sort of bigger kid, but
Mhm.
there was nothing, I never sort of had that barrier as a kid. I never worried about what I was looking like, and I
Mhm.
was just pushing myself from dancing when I was literally, I think my mum has a photo of me at 8 months old like boogieing. and and then off to college I was then trained more rigorously as such. I then developed into like, so I started as a street dancer, and then I learned ballet and tap and all your sort of core dance styles.
Mhm.
And then I obviously learned more singing then, and then sort of realized, oh, I have a bit of a voice here. And then
Mhm.
was acting and sort of put them all together. I then went off to uni to train at the Cass School of Art, which was in London. So I moved from my home in the Midlands down south into London. So I then spent 3 years there training, and what I really enjoyed about the course was that I sort of learned every aspect of theatre. I wasn't just there to carry on my singing and dance and acting training. I also learned how to direct, how to write my own shows, how to,
Mhm.
what fringe theatre is, and creating your own work, and how lighting works, and being stage management. And that I think really prepared me for sort of the outside world, and
Mhm.
how there's actually so much to this industry. It's not just about aiming for the big shows. It's not aiming for the West End or Broadway.
Mhm.
Actually, there's so much around that that is also professional. Just because you're not on the West End or Broadway doesn't mean you're not professional. And so from then on, I did a lot of immersive work. I've been working with a company at Christmas time for like a Christmas show that with them for the past few years. I did a tour a couple of years ago. Sorry, I did a tour a couple of years ago where I played a squirrel. And I was a squirrel for about 9 months of my life, and it was the funniest show I've ever done. And
Mhm.
that was including, you get in, you get out, which is like that's what we call when you sort of like you build the stage and then
Mhm.
you
Yep.
you take
I have done
everything.
that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except as a bunny.
Yeah. There we go. See, and I had this giant tail. And that was like children's theater as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then for the past year, I've been working at, I guess, a sort of theme park. I guess the probably closest thing would be like Six Flags in the US.
Mhm.
And here I've been presenting the shows, performing in them, acting in them, doing all of it, and
Mhm.
really learned how to kind of be myself because I was never ever a character. Even in the shows, you are yourself. So
Mhm.
this past year, I've definitely pushed more into the sort of like presenting, I guess, side where I don't have a script. I have to make the evening go. We're gonna be here for 4 hours and it's just me talking sort of thing. And then yeah, the in February I saw that there was a almost like a recruitment fair going on, and it was
Mhm.
with a company called Excellent Recruitment. And so when you apply for a Disney cruise job, at least that, from my experience, is that you also have to apply under that one of their sort of recruitment agencies. It's not just directly to Disney. So this company that are the UK sort of brand for Disney Cruise Lines. I saw they had a recruitment fair in Liverpool and I attended. And it was a bit dramatic actually because I didn't make it on time. I got like the taxi driver dropped me off at the wrong hotel and so I was just wandering around. It was really a whole thing and I
Oh,
tried
you
to get
must
in
have been
touch with
so
them.
stressed out.
I was literally like, that's it. That's it. I don't know how else I can do this. And then I emailed and was like, please, you have to talk to me. I don't know what confidence came over me, but I was like, I know you're not going to regret talking to me. Please, like, is there a phone call I could have? If anyone is staying behind, I will be there just in an hour because I'm
Mhm.
getting from one side of Liverpool to the other. And they got in touch with me and was like, yeah, we'll stick around. Like, please don't stress. We want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, great. So then I got there and was like, hiya, I have no idea what anyone said, but I'm here, and because there was like a presentation, and sort of like the pizzazz about the cruise line and what you can expect and what jobs are on there because it wasn't just for entertainment.
Mhm.
So I'd missed all of that. I had no idea what they said, but I was like, let me just talk to you about my experience so that hopefully I can get an interview and audition with this. And yeah, I spoke to a lovely lady on the team and she was like, great, let's get you an audition. And then the week after I had an audition and an interview. I then had to have another audition around, so almost like a round two, and this was with an actual Disney recruiter. So this was then away from the sort of the non-Disney recruiters.
Mhm.
I then had a full on about an hour where I had to do about three scripts, a dance, a song, and then two on the spot sort of directional scripts.
Mhm.
Um, and then after that, what else did I have? I think it was about 3 rounds in total. And then yeah, 15 minutes later, they gave me the job.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's exciting. They didn't make you wait.
Yeah, I know. I just ended on the final round. I just sort of ended the call and was like, "Thank you." She was like, "Yeah, I'll get in touch with you by I think this was the weekend." So after the weekend, I was like, "Yeah, no worries." And then yeah, 15 minutes later, I got the email and was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that was quick."
Wow. All right. So how does that feel to know that you're gonna be working for Disney when you love Disney so much?
I know, and honestly, it's not really sunk in just yet. I think this week is where it's all gonna feel very real because I have to carry on with life until
Mhm,
this change comes in. And with cruises, I don't have any personal experience. My brother is a singer for Princess Cruises,
mhm,
and so I know that it can be a wait. It can be a yes, you've got the job, don't know when that's gonna happen. And
mhm,
and I thought, "Okay, well, this is a job that maybe the end of the year, could even be next year." And without going on that trip last year with Beth, I don't think I would have pushed for working for Disney, and it's just really nice because we had like we said, we had lots of, like, random pixie dusts for us, like, we had really good luck charms and really kind responses, and everyone wants to make your day special, and I love doing that in the job that I do, and so when I saw this po potential opportunity, I thought,
mhm.
"Well, there's no better way than for me to do that." Like, I'm gonna have I there's no one else than Disney that I'm gonna be able to spread some magic as such. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, and I will listeners link to Beth and Leoni's trip report in the show notes in case you want to check that out. They had a wonderful 2-week holiday, which all of us in the US
Mhm.
are like, that's so long. We love it. So it was a really fun trip report. So make sure you check that out. This is such an exciting time in your life, not just because you have this job, but you also are engaged.
Yes.
So how is that gonna be for you to be gone for 4 months? And I ask this as somebody who went out on the road for 6 months after I was already married.
Mhm.
It's hard. Are you nervous about that? Is she gonna come and get to visit you at all?
Mhm. Well, Hannah's actually gonna be able to join me on the ship. We both have the same job, and
No way.
Hannah starts in
Leonie,
August.
you did not mention this to me.
I know, it was so when I first messaged you, Hannah hadn't even gotten the job just yet, and
Uh-huh.
then Disney called Hannah, while she was working and was like, "Please answer the phone. We've got some exciting opportunity for you. Like, we've got some news for you." And yeah, they said, "We've got you a contract on the same ship. We know Leoni's on it. So if August is good for you, you'll be on it, but you'll only be on it for 2.5 months."
Uh-huh.
So
But
Hannah's
that's
gonna join
more than
me.
half of the time.
Exactly, yeah, so Hannah's joining me in August,
Oh,
and
wow.
then comes back at the end of October, and I
Mhm.
come back just after the first week of October. So it's
Mhm.
only weeks and a couple of months at the beginning, a couple of weeks at the end.
Oh,
So
what a blessing.
yeah, so I'm very excited, and we genuinely didn't think that was gonna be possible. Well, like most recruitments with couples working, and cruises as well, they're very much like, "We just can't guarantee it.
Mhm.
Thank you, like, we will try our best.
Mhm.
I just can't promise anything. I don't want you to get your hopes up." So we knew
Right.
from the get-go, we'll and because I'm starting in June, by the
Mhm.
time my 4 months starts and then Hannah's might start, we're just gonna constantly miss each other until it matches. But
Right.
no, they've pulled it out the bag and got us on it, and I'm so grateful for it.
I mean, I think it really is an ideal situation for both you all
Mhm.
and for them, though, because it makes you happier. You're going to be happier doing your work
Mhm.
and less likely to want to up and quit, right?
Well, yeah.
And then maybe there's an opportunity to extend your contract, or now they have this in the future where if they're ever looking for people, they're like, oh, Leonie and Hannah are a couple. They both do this, and we could potentially get two at the same time. And so it's win-win for everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And they did kind of say that. They were like, when two people leave, it's actually easier to just then get a couple back in.
Right.
It's just whenever that opportunity opens, no
Mhm.
one knows when that door will be. But yeah, I'm so excited.
All right, now to the technical stuff that the
Hmm.
listeners may be wondering. When you're doing something like this that's going to take you away from home for an extended amount of time, What are you doing? Are you subletting your place to someone else? Do you just kind of shut down your life for that period of time? Do you have arrangements to make for pets? Like,
Yeah.
tell us the details on that.
Yeah, so we currently rent with two of our friends. So there's four of us in total in this apartment as such. Obviously Hannah's still here when I go away. So in terms of like subletting, we did think about this, but we actually thought right now there's no point in doing that because when we're both away, it's
Mhm.
only for 2 months before I'm then back
Right.
here. So it's one of them costs that we're going to have to pay. But then we
Mhm.
know that in the new year, when our official contract ends with the tenancy ends in this apartment, that will then be a cost that we won't have to pay because it hopefully it's a career for us that we want to be in for a long time.
Mhm.
And then those couple of months out, we are literally I'm a travel girly. Like
Mhm.
I'm very much like, well, those 2 months could be anywhere. It doesn't matter to me. We can go then spend it in Thailand, Southeast Asia. Let's go travel Alaska. Like so
Mhm.
it's quite exciting to know that eventually there won't be a sort of point of call. Obviously, we'll have family here,
Mhm.
but it'll be nice to not have that cost. But for now, it's a cost that's going to be there, but it's fine because when there's two of
Mhm.
us on board the ship, the saving, the not spending is actually
Right.
going to be really nice.
Right. That's the thing is when people are out on regular land tours as a performer, it can I mean, it's always easy to spend money. You can find a reason to spend money, but it's
Yeah.
also kind of easy to save money if you're careful about it because at least with tours that happen of like plays and musicals, you typically get a per diem
Hmm.
to go towards your living expenses every day for a hotel, for food, that sort of thing. And you are able to kind of make choices as to what you do with that. Obviously, you're going to eat what you want to eat, and then also in terms of where you're staying, a lot of times what they budget for is more than you need. You can find better hotel chains that are still very nice but less expensive than what they accounted for, or maybe you go in with somebody else and you're rooming together, so that cuts the cost down, or renting a vacation home, that sort of thing. And so you can really sock away money when you're out on the road with
Yeah, for
something like
sure.
this.
And I have to say, like, Disney are so organized with everything. After you get the job, it's almost like a pre approval for the job because you then have to have a medical exam and then you
Mhm.
have to get your visa. And there's a couple of things like, and then you have to get a background check, but both American and UK. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that could be in the way of you actually getting on the ship first. And
Mhm.
another thing I was really nervous about was the medical. But if I had to pay for that myself, I would have had to pay £500 for it. And Disney have they cover it, and
That's great.
they will also reimburse your visa as well. I'm not necessarily sure if that's just a UK thing. I don't know if that's just a cruise thing, but from my perspective, they all I've had to pay is for the visa that I'm going to get back immediately when I get on the ship. So
Mhm.
it's really nice to have all of that organized and feel it's weird to know that I paid money to go to Florida and this time
They're
they've
they're
paid
paying
and they're
you.
paying me. So it's a nice little switch up.
Where exactly are the places that this Disney Wish cruise is going to be sailing to?
So the embarkation, I think, is the word.
I
The
struggle with longtime listeners are gonna be like, "She never gets this right." She always struggles. I think it's embarkation and then
yeah,
disembarkation.
disembark. I would have said
Maybe.
debark.
I think it's I don't now I'm struggling with the end, but I'm fairly sure I've landed
Mhm.
on it's embarkation when you leave.
Okay. So the start, I guess, is
Mhm.
Port Canaveral in
Mhm.
Florida, and then it goes to Nassau in the Bahamas.
Nassau.
Nassau, thank you.
Yes.
Nassau in the Bahamas. Then we head to Castaway Key, and then
Mhm.
we go back up to Port Canaveral.
So does it do the same route over and over again?
I believe so, yeah. From what I've seen on Cruise Mapper, that seems to be the itinerary.
Mhm.
However, it does differ between 4 and 3 nights. So the
Mhm.
only thing I'm not sure is whether it goes straight from Florida to the Bahamas, then we spend a night there, or we then go to Castaway Key the next day and spend a day there. I'm not quite sure how that 4 nights works,
Sure.
with how it makes sense on the map. But yeah, so I think it's just gonna be
Mhm.
almost like a constant re-go. But with it being 4 and 3 nights, I imagine there's gonna be people on there for like 7. So we do
Mhm.
those twice, and if it changes, I'll let you know. But that's what I
Yeah.
can see.
And there'll be, I'm sure, days off for you scattered in between where you're not necessarily, scheduled to be doing any entertaining or anything, and you just can sort of act like a passenger on the ship. What is the situation as far as the accommodations that they're going to be giving you and food and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I actually don't get a day off.
You don't
So
get a
I
day
don't
off?
get a day off. I get like hours and time off. And so that could be that I literally do 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. in the morning, and then the
Uh-huh.
rest of the day is mine.
Oh, okay.
And that, but it also could be 11-hour shift, and then the evening or middle is off.
Mhm.
So I get hours off and sort of time off, but there won't ever be a full day that
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
working,
That
which
is
is
bizarre. Oh my
uh-huh.
goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but to be fair, like with how I am and how I work, I'm definitely the kind of person I end up doing either 2 or 3 jobs when I'm here at the UK, when I'm going through, like, my sort of muggle job period if I'm not
Your
in a
muggle job. I
that's
love
how
that.
I don't know why, that's just a saying that me and my partner call it, like, when we're
Mhm.
not doing any performing work.
Mhm.
Um because for me, I like to do different things all the time, so I end up
Mhm.
doing 2 or 3 jobs, which doesn't really ever give me any time off, so
Mhm.
this sort of work, I
I
know
have
it's not gonna be
been there, lady.
yeah. It's not gonna be too far from what
Yeah.
I'm used to, and obviously any of that time I will treasure with with
Mhm.
what
So
I
to
can.
speak.
Mhm. But they, in terms of accommodation, they put you up with I think they share bunks, so I'll be sharing with somebody else. I think for the first week when I'm actually on the ship, so I get on the ship on the 6th of June,
Mhm.
and that first week apparently is called training week, which is basically nothing to do with my job, but it's all to do with like the safety of the ship. So it's all of the exits, it's all of the safety aspects of the ship. I imagine it's just learning every inch of the ship that I might need to use.
Mhm.
And apparently, they tend to use the entertainers for this, but there's a sort of role that you have that you can, because we tend to be the
Mhm.
people, yeah, where we like, we can talk to groups of people at once and we're quite confident with that. So
Right.
apparently, they tend to pick one of us to do an extra sort of responsibility during any safety routines.
Mhm. I'm sure that will be your, typical muster station drill that you
Yeah.
have to do for every cruising, where you teach the people who are gonna be on the cruise where to meet in the event of an emergency and what to do.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yeah, probably that one. And then all food is taken care of. I don't have to pay for anything like that. I just don't know where. I know that they've got staff sort of bars, they've got staff gym, they've got that sort of thing. They've got also a staff shop and things like that. But
Mhm.
I also think that we can eat with the guests. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure we eat in certain areas and we'll get I think we also get some discount on the shops as well, which I'm very excited to hopefully not use
Uh-huh.
too much of.
Will you get to switch into a room with Hannah once she boards?
I'm hoping so, yeah. So because I'm gonna have these couple of months to sort of let Hannah know, hey, this is
Mhm.
what happens. Like, look forward to this day, or that day's what's gonna happen. I'm hoping that when she does come on board, they'll actually just switch rooms. I think for your first week of training, you are just put with someone that's not even your cabin. It's just that you're put there for now, and then when there's a room available, that's when you kind of switch into your one. So hopefully, it'll all work out that actually I can just talk to whoever and get them to swap.
Yeah, yeah, I would imagine that would be
Yeah,
a fairly easy thing to ask for and to be granted. Wish granted, Leonie.
thank you. Wish.
Well, this is all so very exciting. I'm gonna look forward to hearing exactly what it's like for you and how much magic you're gonna be able to make for the guests. It's just such a gift as a performer to have a job where you get to be paid to do what you're trained to do, and that's what you do for your living. People kind of have this idea that success is being in the West End, success is being on Broadway. That's not what a majority of people are doing. There are so many more people trying to do it than there are jobs. And when you get a performing job where that's what you're being paid to do, I mean, there's so many people out there trying to do it that aren't doing it. And there are people like me who set it aside once I became a mom. I would love to be doing it, but I'm not. I have a muggle job. I sort of work at the Ministry of Magic. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but making it is being able to get a paycheck, doing what you were trained to do and what you love to do. So you've made it, girl.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to spread some magic.
We will chat when you get back, and you're going to have 4 months of Disney experience, and you're going to be able to call yourself literally a cast member, both
Mhm.
of the entertainment and of Disney. And who knows what that's going to lead to next.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Before I head, Beth did say hi. She sends her love.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so
she's moved
much.
to Australia with her wonderful husband, Alex.
No. Oh
Yeah,
my
so they are.
goodness.
Yeah, they're both living their best life, and she just
Oh,
wanted to
I'm so
send her
happy for
wishes.
her. Please tell her I said hello back. I do have listeners in Australia, so
Woo-woo.
tell her to continue to spread the word. And
Perfect.
it's so funny because I've had a couple people reach out to me about trying to be Trip Report guests, and it has not worked out. And that's on my goal list, is to have somebody from Australia come.
Perfect.
So if she knows anybody who's going to
Mhm.
be going on a Disney trip, I would love to hear from that perspective of an Australian native. All right, Leoni, have a wonderful trip. Be safe, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, Leoni.
Hello.
You're back on dry land.
I am indeed.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
crazy.
Let's see, it's November 2nd today, and we last spoke on May 26th. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah, that's been a while.
I know you've probably lived a lifetime during that span. I have so much to ask you about today because this is not a normal trip like I would do with other guests for a trip report. This is something unique and special, and it is essentially sort of a behind the scenes of what it was like to be a cast member on a Disney cruise. So excited to hear all about your journey. And I've in looking at my notes and in editing the first conversation that we have, I've kind of organized my questions for you into some sections to just sort of break it down, since this was, I think, 4 months. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, a long time.
Hmm.
So, the first questions I have are sort of related to returning from the cruise. So, how does it feel to be off the ship? Did you have you gotten used to land again? And did you get what they called your sea legs?
I personally, I'm not sure if I got my sea legs. I genuinely came off land. I stayed in Florida for a bit, and I landed back in the UK on Tuesday, so
Hmm.
nearly a week ago now, and I didn't really feel any different.
Okay.
I wasn't really swaying. A lot of people say that you kind of sway, not that I've noticed. So, but I think that's kind of like a good thing. A lot of people just
Oh
say it
yeah.
feels a bit weird when you come off, but actually, I think because the ship I was on was so big, like we
Hmm.
barely had any sort of like rocking per se.
Yeah.
Um, that I think because of that, it was kind of fine. I didn't
Hmm.
really, yeah.
Good.
So yeah, all good.
This was the first time you ever cruised. So you were not somebody who had been going on cruises for vacations, and suddenly here you are working on a cruise. Do you see yourself potentially taking a cruise as a vacation at some point in the future?
Absolutely. Like, I think now that I've worked on a cruise, I'm so interested in feeling like the guest. And
Hmm.
not necessarily Disney cruises either. My brother is a singer with Princess Cruises. And
Hmm.
so it looks like after a next contract, it might fit in to go on one of his.
Oh,
And so
cool.
it'd be actually nice to not only know someone but feel like a
Mhm.
guest, and be interesting to see the difference between other companies as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, you were lucky enough because you were cast on the Disney Wish. You were cast in this contract for the Disney Wish. And at the same time, your fiance, Hannah, also ended up getting a contract. So you got to spend about half of your time on the cruise ship with her also on board. So, how was that, sort of working together on the cruise ship? Did your roles intersect at all in terms of what you were doing on the day to day?
So actually, Hannah never came to join me.
No, what
Yeah,
happened?
no. So nothing too major, but so there's a couple of things. The first thing was Hannah should have joined me in August, I think. I think it was like the end of July, August.
Mm-hmm.
However, there was some new policies added from the
Oh.
American government, and it pushed back everyone's visa. So Hannah's visa appointment should have been like
Mm.
3 weeks before joining the ship, essentially, and or maybe a month before, I think. And so, because of these new policies, it was then pushed back till September, and that was for the visa date. So it wasn't
Wow.
even for the cruise. So we were like, okay, let's try. Like, well, there's nothing else we can do. That quite literally, it's taken out of our hands. We're just gonna have to wait for that time. But then Hannah would then just be on for 2 months, and then there was we just had a really big conversation. It was like, okay, maybe this is not ideal right now. Maybe we look at this and think, okay, this is the world just saying, hey, Han, it's not, cruising is not for you at this moment in time, sort of thing. Because every time it was the visa date, there was just something else in the way of Hannah coming on board. So in the end, what happened was I filled my contract, then Hannah flew out to me to Orlando, and we did a 2-week Disney vacation, full theme parks, in order to celebrate.
Well, as an American, I apologize for all of the troubles you went through with your visa. That really stinks because I know how much you were looking forward to being together and having this experience. So, I guess my technical question about that is
Mm-hmm.
when someone is not able to come and do their contract because of a visa issue type thing, um, do they have to extend other people's contracts who are already on the ship?
So essentially, what happened was, it sounds like they've got a big pool of cast members, or like people that have got the job but they're waiting for their what they call their
Mm-hmm.
line, and so we ended up getting a new member on board, and she had the exact same start and finish date as Hannah. So I thought, oh, I bet this person has taken Hannah's contract, because obviously
Mm-hmm.
they need someone to fill it in.
Right.
So that's what ended up happening. But I believe it's going to create a big snowball effect, because obviously they're trying to bring
Mm-hmm.
out the new ships. They need a constant new influx of workers, of crew, and
Mm-hmm.
actually pushing it back, especially from the UK, because there's a lot of people from the UK on the cruises, no matter what like field you're in, sort of thing.
Right.
And they're all just going to be pushed back. So Hannah's was supposed to be, let's say, July, and was pushed back to September. So then if
Mm-hmm.
you were in August, you're now in October. And so then if it was September, it's now November, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just going to create a huge backlog, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually that's going to snowball and I think affect the amount of people, specifically from the UK. I'm not sure if it happened anywhere else,
Right.
to actually get their visa onto the cruise.
Hmm. Okay. Well, you're right. Maybe it's a question of timing. So maybe
Yeah.
Hannah will be on a future cruise, and
Yeah.
we'll see. But I am sorry that you didn't get to experience that together. But
Yep.
making up for it with a
Mm-hmm.
2-week Disney vacation certainly seems like a way to kind of soften the blow a bit.
Absolutely. And it was so nice to like properly introduce Hannah. So what Beth did for me last year when we did Disney, and
Mm-hmm.
then I've been able to do that for Hannah this time, and like
Yeah.
bring Hannah along, introduce Hannah to Disney properly. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for that, because they've been able to like really suck it all in And then hopefully eventually we'll both be on a Disney cruise together at some point. We'll see.
Yeah. Crossing my fingers for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this next bit is sort of about training. So I know that when Disney cast members who work in the parks go through training, they go through what Disney calls traditions, which is a class that's been going on for years and years and years to introduce them to sort of the Disney way and to make them feel part of the history and everything. Is traditions something that you got to take part in as a Disney Cruise Line cast member?
Yes, it
Woo!
was.
Exciting.
So, so part of my training is that I had to spend, I think it was 3 days in total, with what we call PST training. That's basically your cruise sort of certificate. So it's to know that you know what to do in an emergency, you know what to do in the water, you know how to wear a life jacket, how to put one on quickly, sort of thing. And you have to do that training. And then on the fourth day, we got to do tradition. So we took a coach, and you learn all about the history and how to be a cast member, why it's fun to be a cast member, all about where it all started, and you get to experience. And it was good for me to see, because some people have never even been to Disney at all, ever. Like that, some people are from countries that are nowhere near anything to do with Disney. So for them, we got to do a little ceremony where anyone that had been in Magic Kingdom before, we line up outside, and then those that haven't get to walk through, and we did a big clap for them and a big cheer whilst they saw the castle for the first time. So it was a really nice little touch for anyone that's never seen it before.
Yeah, that sounds really special, and like it is a good way to sort of make you feel like a part of things right away.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it really gave people that buzz to then be ready, because the next day was when we embarked on the ship.
You have a background in theater, so I think that particularly with the role that you've been hired to do, you were really well prepared for this. But was there any part of your role on the ship that surprised you or maybe challenged you in a way that you had not expected?
Oh, that's a great question. I think ship life in general. I think because you don't have a day off, you get your time off. So for me, it was about navigating the time where and how I used it, sort of thing. So, it was very easy to go to bed on your time off, because the way the hours work for the TMS, I think it's called, it's like the ship law, like cruise law, if that makes sense. It kind of works on a 24-hour clock. So it's not a case of just we're open from 8, we close at 6 sort of thing. Your hours are midnight to midnight, and they're slotted in such through that. And so obviously it's really easy to just kind of go to bed and not socialize. So for me, I think what surprised me more about the job was learning that socialized self about myself, like the socializing part of myself. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not too much of a sociable person. I very much get used to being around people, and it takes me a while and to like make friends and like get comfortable with people. And so this time I fully put myself in a vulnerable position and was like, okay, I have to make friends. I want to go and like hang out and find out where the places to go are, and find out what to do in Nassau in the Bahamas, or find out even how to make friends, or how to say things in different languages, because all the friends and people are from all over the world. So that was what I think surprised me more so about the job, which was really good to come back and feel so confident as a person back home.
How easy was it to keep in contact with those back home from the ship?
Honestly, it's a lot easier than it is. I think cruising used to be really difficult. No signal, no Wi-Fi, no nothing sort of thing. But we have Wi-Fi on the ship, and you can buy the Wi-Fi. So it is expensive because you buy hours. But Disney do give you a free, like, hours. They give you 7 hours for free. And then after that, it would be like $10, $20, depending on how much you buy. So obviously that can add up. But if you kind of use it wisely, you could get free Wi-Fi and not have to pay for anything. Or, every now and then, like once a month, you might pay $20 for a bit of Wi-Fi here. But we have WhatsApp that works so that we can actually contact people in our team. So you can have like a WhatsApp group. So WhatsApp works all the time. So I can text Hannah, for example, any time of the day. That goes through no cost.
Okay.
So it's just that the Wi-Fi will pay for then your Facebook or your Messenger or your FaceTime sort of thing.
Right. Okay. All right. Now I have some questions sort of more about itinerary and that sort of thing. So you had said that it was going to be making stops in Nassau and Castaway Cay, and then it was going to be alternating between 3 and 4 night cruisings. So was there anything else that changed about that once you were on the ship?
No, that was the same. So the Wish currently is just 3 and 4 night cruises. A lot of people come away from the Wish. I think people who have probably done other cruise or other Disney cruises and then come on the Wish, more crew, have different of opinions. But for me, I thoroughly enjoyed being able to do set sail on a Wish twice a week. I got to do Pirates Night twice a week. I got to see fireworks twice a week. And it is like Fast and Furious on the Wish because it's, especially on the 3 days, like you start and then you finish. Like those 3 days are up so quickly. And then again, the 4 day, you just have one sea day that makes any difference. And so for me, I thoroughly enjoyed that for my career wise. I definitely joined cruises, not to travel the world, but I joined Disney Cruise Line for my career over the itinerary. So it really helped me to be able to like fast pace, learn these shows, present these shows and host them in front of 4,000 people, and then like do it all again at the weekend and do it again next week. And that for me was worth more than choosing a different cruise. Not that I got to choose, but than doing another cruise that was slower pace, if that makes sense.
Right. When we talked before, I was shocked to learn that you didn't get days off. And now that we've talked more, I understand why that is. So you don't get days off, but you get some time off. Did the fact that you did not get any days off make the 4 months go by faster? Or do you think it made it go by slower?
Honestly, probably faster. I think if you were to tell me now I'm back in the UK that I was going to be working somewhere else for 4 months, no day off, I would be like, no, I'm good, thank you so much. But on the ship, you're kind of like, well, there's nowhere else to be. Like, there's nothing else to do. So I may as well work. And the work is enjoyable, especially in my department as an Ents host, because you do all different things. Like I'm doing kids club shows, I'm doing a trivia, or I'm hosting the adults this cruise, or I'm going up on deck 11 and I'm doing this. And every day is different, which I think what makes it go faster. So that time off is great to relax. And luckily for me, in my role, I'm able to walk around the guest areas because some departments are not even allowed to do that. So for me, when we were at Castaway Cay, that meant all the guests were on the island, which meant that the adult area by the pool was empty, sort of thing. So I was able to utilize my time that way.
Did you take advantage during any of the hours off that you had to do anything like the spa or that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we actually got some crew, how do we call it? I don't know how to say
perk?
it. We've got like crew perks. So we got like 90% for like a month in a row or something like that. And our manager turned around and said, "Hey, we're having a spa night." And so we actually had the evening to the spa for ourselves. So it wasn't necessarily like massages and things, but we got like the steamer, the sauna room, the relaxation bed. So it's just nice to know that the perks were there. Like I really do think Disney Cruise Line especially really look after the crew. Like their priority is to like make sure that we're rewarded when it's needed and when it's there, and that the perks are there for everyone to use. And they have things like mental health, like a free, you kind of get like a free therapy session. They also have like a network on the TV for you to use. So, and they actually have a manager called the crew engagement manager for that specific reason. So
Oh, wow.
it was really nice to go on to a new workplace and think, okay, they actually do want to take care of the crew, and that's really supportive, and it makes the job easier.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's wonderful, but it also makes sense to me because it sounds like, in spite of how much fun you might be having and how delighted you might be to be in this role and working for Disney, it's a lot. And making sure that you take care of your people ensures that they will fulfill their contract and prevent them from having to pull somebody on at the last second. So, that does make sense, but I'm glad that you
Absolutely.
felt taken care of.
Thank you.
You shared a bunk with someone, I believe. Were they also in entertainment or did they have a different role?
So I had two roommates, and one was a lifeguard, and then the next one was Sarah, who was part of my team. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Sarah. She is so lovely and she's so
Mm-hmm.
funny. And she came over from the Treasure. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
she did a couple of contracts on the Treasure, and then as a third contract was on the Wish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we were so lucky. So on the Wish, there's no bunk beds, which is great
Nice.
because there's no stress beyond me knowing I'm on the top bunk. I'm a bottom bunk girly because I cannot climb them stairs for the life of me.
Listen, I feel like once you get to a certain age,
Hmm.
the idea of climbing any kind of stairs to get into bed is just not appealing. So
Right, exactly.
that's good.
Yeah, and we were very lucky because I think the cabin that we were in is also what was a tech cabin. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, but it was like an L shape. So it meant that it was actually a little bit bigger than the
Mm-hmm.
other cabins.
Mm-hmm.
So the other cabins are like like parallel to each other, so the
Mm-hmm.
only space you have is that little corridor like in between the beds, whereas
Mm-hmm.
because ours was an L shape, we had a whole little space going on, so it made
Mm-hmm.
it. I didn't realize this until one of my teammates was like, "Whoa, your room's massive," and I was like, "What do you mean? It's just a room." And I was like, "No, you've got the king size room." I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,"
okay.
and then I saw their cabin was like, "Oh yeah, my room's definitely bigger than yours."
I think you got pixie dusted.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh,
Oh, that's
sorry, welcome
amazing.
to the castle."
Did you spend a lot of time in the room, or was it, even having one of the larger rooms, I'm sure it still felt small because it's a cruise ship.
Yeah.
So did you feel like you wanted to kind of be out of the room most of the time?
Honestly, I really liked it. Like, I enjoyed spending time in my room, and you kind of do. That's become your home and your safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to it, and I think it did help having the L shape because it meant that I was actually further away from my roommate. Not that I would want to be far away, but I can't see Sarah, if that makes sense, and she couldn't see
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, she had her corner, I had my corner, which kind of made it a
Mm-hmm.
bit more personal. Whereas
Yeah.
the other rooms, you literally can't not look at your roommate, if that makes sense. So I think
Right. Yeah.
on another contract, I think that will be an interesting,
Yeah.
room for me to learn.
So you could put your headphones on, watch TV or whatever, and actually feel like you're having some by yourself time, even though she might have still been in the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they give you like a curtain as well, so you can like shut yourself into your bed. So like
Mm-hmm.
if you did want your own time, the curtain's shut, so like that person needs their own space, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's very good to know for anybody out there who is an introvert and really needs to recharge by not being around people. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the role. So you were going to be doing a lot of hosting and things like that. What did that turn out to be like? Because you've already mentioned a little bit of the variety of it. Did it feel very organized as far as what you were supposed to be doing when, or were there uh, a, a lot more times when it would be like, oh, why don't you go do this, or a little bit
Hmm.
more flexibility and improving within the schedule?
So I actually found the scheduling and like understanding the different shows was really organized. What our managers did, which was amazing, they kind of have you on like a board, and then you have every show and every track that needs to be learned, and then
Mm-hmm.
it goes from like a yellow that you're learning it and like a green that you know it, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can then just tick it off, and they can then send that to the next contract or like upload it to the file so that the next manager that sees you knows, okay, well, she knows Pirate 1 and Pirate 2, but tonight she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna or like I'm gonna give her some script time for Pirate 5 or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I found that really organized and really easy to understand what I'm up for next. And Saoirse, who was my ents manager, who was an incredible entertainment manager. I think my first contract was smooth, and she really saw something in me. I think when you first start, for someone like me, I first started and I had all this experience. I have 7 years of basically doing this kind of job, but just not on a ship. And for me as a person, I really struggle to try and get that across to people, because I know that people need to trust me, but they don't know me and I don't know them. So I was trying to be like, in the first 2 weeks, like, I could do this, I can do that, I can do this. And it's like, just take your time. Like, you will learn the roles, you will get to host, you will get to do all these things. But right now, you need to know the basics of the job. And it was really hard for me to be like the new person again, because I hadn't felt like that for a long time.
Right.
But yes, the job itself was amazing, and you got that script time, which could have been an hour, 2 hours here, which you're able to kind of find your own space and learn that show and become friends with that person, and then be able to, you know, show whoever needs to see it, sort of thing, and then perform it to like the guests, which was great fun.
When we spoke before, you were specifically looking forward to those sail away parties, but of all of the things that you ended up doing within your role, what turned out to be your favorite thing that you hosted?
My favorite thing was the Mickey Minnie's Pirates in the Caribbean. I got to host that. I got to host that with some really good friend of mine, and you perform it on deck 11 with all of the gang. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy are all there, and you're all dressed as pirates. And I'm sure the show is on YouTube for people to look it up, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but we get back the Disney wish, and we teach all of the guests some pirate moves, sort of thing. And yeah, it's so good. Pirate night is my favorite evening.
Oh, all right. And I just have a couple more final questions for you. Has doing this contract changed your feelings about Disney at all?
I think the only thing that's changed is that I enjoy working for the company. I have thoroughly enjoyed the past 4 months, and I feel like I found my place right now in my career. And you know, even just going in, for example, going into the parks afterwards, I obviously can get some discount now, which is really nice. So when I show my discount, they ask me where I make my magic, and I say Disney Cruise Line, and they go, "Oh my goodness!" And like, so to know that people think that about the cruise line is really nice to know. And so, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've only learned more that I do love working for this company.
What a dream! What a dream! So your contract was a certain amount of time. Are you still considered a cast member for that sort of discount and that sort of thing now? Like, are you kind of like in a holding pattern?
I am still a cast member because until I resign from the company, I'm still a part of it. So I actually have signed for my next contract.
Ooh, okay.
Which, yeah, so it's quite exciting. Currently, I only say currently because anything can change at any point.
Sure.
Even like the day before I fly, sort of thing. So until I'm on the ship, I know to not say where I am. But currently, it is the Disney Treasure, which is exciting. Nice. And that's going to be at the end of November that I fly out. I literally fly out in 3 weeks. So.
Oh my word.
It's not a long time. So yeah, I'm still a cast member. I can still use my discount in this vacation period. Just because I'm not getting paid obviously during this time, but I'm still considered a cast member because this is just how the cruise contracts work. It's a bit different when people are in their full-time contracts and have those days off. I just have all my days off all together over these next 4 weeks, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How long is the next contract?
It'll be the same amount of time. It'll be 4 months. So it's from the end of November to the end of March. It sounds, every time I say November to March, it sounds like 6 months, and it scares me. And then I realize, oh wait, yeah, it's still only 4.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and where does the treasure? Where is it going to sail to? Do you know? And what kind of
Yes.
3 night, 4 night, that sort of thing?
So it's seven-day cruises, and each
Oh wow.
week is Eastern Caribbean and then Western Caribbean. So
Okay.
the Eastern Caribbean, I believe, is like the Virgin Islands. It'll also go to Castaway Cay over those 7 days. And then the Western actually does Mexico and Jamaica and then Castaway Cay as well. And it
Oh wow.
also docks in Port Canaveral. So it's
Mm-hmm.
actually quite good for this second contract. It's the same style of ship,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have to learn where anything is. I kind of know my way around because the Wish and the Treasure are both what we call Triton class, so they're built the exact same. It's
Okay.
just that there's different rooms and lounges. They will look and be named slightly different,
Mm-hmm.
but apart from that, the actual base of the ship is the same. So I
Mm-hmm.
already know where everything is, sort of thing. It'll just be like cupboards and drawers and where things are that'll be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, different itinerary, longer itinerary. So I'm very grateful for what I learned on the Wish, and it's nice to have the exact same things on the
Mm-hmm.
Treasure, same shows, same layout of things. There's just a few more shows on the Treasure that I'll be able to learn.
Mm-hmm. That sounds ideal to me because the longer cruise, first of all, and then second of all, the getting to alternate between those destinations, just for variety's sake, I think will be more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I'm really excited to go to somewhere that's totally different. I've never been to Mexico. I know I've been
Mm-hmm.
to Jamaica. Obviously, I know they're going through a bit of a tough time at the moment,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see when I get out there what the difference is. But I know
Mm-hmm.
that the Treasure has just changed its itinerary for the
Mm-hmm.
weather. So the thing is, what I've learned from the ships is that it's easy to actually dodge the bad weather. Like they can
Mm-hmm.
see what's coming up, they see what we can't avoid, and they kind of let us know. But apart from that, like we're actually to stay very safe
Yeah.
from certain like bad weather.
Yeah, that's really good to know because I think one thing that people are concerned about, particularly in the like July to November range, are the hurricanes.
Hmm.
And of course, you don't want your cruise itinerary to change, but at the same time, knowing that the ship can quite literally pivot and go around weather is something that I think is a little bit comforting for people who might be nervous about booking during that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd always recommend sort of like a bigger ship. They tend
Mm-hmm.
to be the smoothest. So
Yeah.
on the Wish, my whole time I was there, it was smooth. Like you could barely feel anything. There was
Mm-hmm.
just a couple of nights, especially before I left, mainly September. It tended to be the days that we would pull away from Port Canaveral, and then the day that we were always going back to Port Canaveral. We always just seemed to get the obviously it was more the sea, not the weather, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The sea was just a bit rocky, and it can be
Yeah.
quite uncomfortable. But it didn't affect the days. Every time we went to Castaway Cay, it was sunny or the weather was great. Like it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We were really lucky in that sense that it was only like on those sort of nights that, yeah, it's a bit rocky, it's a bit uncomfortable, but it's not as much as you'd feel, I think, on smaller ships. But obviously,
Yeah.
smaller ships have like different itineraries and different places, so you're not on the ship as much because you tend to get off to go on to the ports.
Any highlights you want to share from your 2 weeks in Disney World? Showing Hannah around. What were some of the favorite things you did? Did you stay somewhere new for yourself?
Yeah, oh my gosh, we just had the best time, and we just stayed in like a cheap motel. It wasn't anything special. It was just cheap and cheerful for us to be able to use money that I'd saved for us to go and spend it. Hannah
Mm-hmm.
had a birthday over there, so it was nice to spend a birthday in Disney. So um we actually did what me and Beth did last year, where we actually went to Magic Kingdom on a day that they did Mickey and Minnie's Not So Scary. No, sorry,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the Mickey's Halloween party. So
No,
the
Mickey's Not So
daytime.
Scary is right. Yeah,
That's it. Oh yeah, sorry,
yeah.
that's it. So the day that Magic Kingdom have that on, the day in the park is always quiet. It is
Yeah.
quiet. We got on everything. We booked a lightning lane for Tron, but then we
Uh-huh.
just queued up for it because it was 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Like so to get to experience Hannah's face seeing the
Aw.
castle was just so cute, and I managed to get a
Mm.
nice cast deal for the photos. But then the next day on Hannah's birthday, we went back to the park, but just for the evening, just for the
Mhm.
fireworks purely. Me and Beth didn't get a chance to do that last year, so it was also a first time for me and Hannah. And
Mhm.
getting to see the fireworks and
Aw.
then the new light parade, starlight parade.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it was just beautiful. It was so
Oh,
nice.
wow. I mean, I think that happily ever after is magical for most people, but
Mhm.
I can only imagine what that was like for you to see it for the first time, to be a cast member, and to be standing there getting to watch it with the love of your life. That
Yeah.
had to have been
Yeah. I
Whew.
know, yeah.
Makes me
I'm
feel
getting
choked up
chills.
just
Yeah.
talking about it. Like that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Oh, honestly, I'm gonna get cry now actually.
I
Like
know. I can't
I
help it, Leonie. I am
uh-huh.
just such a baby when it comes to this
No,
stuff.
no, I'm the same. Like I'm so grateful for the past 4 months. Like I can't thank Hannah enough for like the support. Oh, I'm gonna cry. So sorry.
Oh.
Um, for the support and like, it hasn't been easy for the things that have changed, but
Mhm.
those 2 weeks to get to thoroughly like experience everything for the first time and see that show and it
Mhm.
be Hannah's birthday. I'm a cast member.
Mm.
Like it was just so surreal. And another highlight was we got to do Epic Universe. Obviously that's brand
Oh,
new
cool.
and no one has been there. So like usually Beth and Alex, obviously
Mhm.
Beth introduced me to last year to Disney and Universal, which I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for. What a beautiful being, and obviously Alex and Beth together have done Disney, so they're the ones that have always introduced us to it. So then
Uh-huh.
us to do Epic Universe, and no one
Uh-huh.
that we know has done it before. We were like, wow. We're
Yeah.
learning the ropes here. How are
Yeah.
we the only ones to be here right now? It was just amazing.
Aw, that's really cool. You're a trailblazer in your friend group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Leonie, it has been so lovely to get to chat with you again and to hear how all this went for you. I think that, especially for somebody with your background and your love of Disney, this has just been a dream come true, a wish granted. Maybe I should say, um, to be able to do this. And thank you so much for being so open to share it with me and the listeners.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I hope that this sort of new style has helped a few people to learn a bit more about Disney Cruise Line.
Good luck on your next contract, and I feel sure we're going to talk again in the future.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to Leonie for being on the show again and for her kind heart and her generosity of spirit. I also want to give a shout out to Hannah, her most supportive fiance. Making the arts your career can be challenging in so many ways, and it makes a huge difference to have someone in your corner cheering you on and rooting for your success, even if it means you're away for a bit. When Charles and I were newly married for about a year, I was cast in a show that took me on the road for 6 months, and I could not have done that without his love and support. So I definitely know what I'm talking about. And with that, we will wrap up today's show. Next week, make sure you tune in for the last trip of 2025 with my guest, Carmen, who was lucky enough to visit Disneyland Paris and Efteling. Efteling is a magical theme park in the Netherlands that is on my bucket list and should be on your bucket list too, because it is so unique. And it is said to have been one of Walt's inspirations for his own parks. So look forward to that. Thank you all for listening, and remember to keep daydreaming about where you long to be.